every 6 months, at least for the bond or, programs
Look,
like that.
I think it makes sense because as much as we may think lawyers muck up the work, I think the clarity of having legal representation allows you to deal with things once as opposed to an ongoing festering issue. And I think while it may cost a little bit more on the front end, it gets it done. And it's part of the problem that we have when dealing with immigration, right? And I'm going to use your example because it's there's this distinction, right? There are citizens, and then there are these people. I get the example, but in the end, that step, right, that step where we do here, damns us as much as the person who's in the system. Because it costs us more, it drains us more, and it achieves less than if we simply gave a standard that made sense, right? I think that my hope, right, is that if you are able to deal with comprehensive immigration reform, by the way, it's going to be 3 to 6 years of, and there are not enough attorneys here who are old enough, but Reagan's supposed amnesty was supposed to be 7 million people. I think in the end only 4 million, 3 million caught it. So the same is about to happen here. It's like DACA. DACA was supposed to apply to X million of people, and it's a fraction of what it was supposed to apply, just like I think DAPA would. And so but what I do think is that when you deal with that, one of the things that you have to do is not take the resources out of the system, but keep the same resources for a while so you clear it out. There's going to be something new, right, that we're going to have to deal with it, but it also, long term, is something that I think is changing, very nature of it, right? And I think when you remove fear from it, you find that, for example, millennials on this issue think this discussion is absurd, right?
I don't.
And you all voted. But that issue, right, this idea of how we view things is very 20th century as opposed to 22nd century, right? The idea, that of course countries have borders, of course there are definitions, and of course there's meaning to citizenship. But there also are things that we as a country do that make more sense when you handle them on the front end than you allow them to fester. For example, punishment on someone who you could, in theory, wants to leave anyway, or if they want to stay, you could just deal with the issues because the basics of the case are small enough and compartmentalized that you can handle them right at the beginning, as opposed to the 32 meetings you have to postpone the case or not postpone or get. And if a judge has the discretion and capacity to do it, I think you're able to move through a lot more quickly on some of this stuff, and that requires counsel.
I wanted to ask a question, and then we'll open it up to questions from the audience. I wanted to ask a question about something that is a big issue in our country, in the district, in particular in Homestead. We're seeing is the thousands of children and families from El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala who are coming into the country, fleeing from violence,